What is up, Internet? I am Tateshi, and we are taking a look at Mtion. Before we dive into the Mtion program, I just want to state that this is an early access build that I have. And also, if you would like to be a part of it, the developers are looking for content creators and streamers who are, interested in messing and tinkering and helping out in our community with Mtion, to send the email here on their landing page. I'll have it in the description below. But basically, once you send your email, they'll get you into the Discord and they'll have you go through like a walk-on type process, get you through the ropes of how to use the program like I'm about to do today. Okay, so now that we're in the program, I need to have a little bit of a disclaimer. First and foremost, you need to have a beefy PC. If you're running on a potato or older hardware, it will not work. They highly recommend more modern stuff, as this program, even though it will be idling in the background, it still eats up a lot of resources, and that you should probably treat this more like a video game running in the background. So I'm running a 5800X AMD CPU, and I have a 3060 Ti GPU. And even adding in, at least at this moment, since it's still in early access, a few browser sources that I have some CPU spiking. Furthermore, the goal with this program is to have a virtual 3D space for your VTuber to be in, or you, if you would like to use green screen and put yourself into a virtual environment. That is the goal of the program. However, they're trying to have you move all your sources and all your effects into Mtion, so you don't have to really worry about OBS as much. So you can put pop-up chat, for example, in here, or your starting soon browser source, or so on and so forth. You can have alerts in here as well. And then all you have to do is just have Mtion opened on OBS and then have your camera controls. So from this point further, we're going to go to a desktop capture, and then we're going to talk about the program. All right. So this is Mtion. I know I'm not on screen anymore, but I will cut back to me when it comes to certain segments. I'm going to go back to the main page. Once you boot up the program, you will be introduced to pretty much nothing in saved files. But you will see the Stream Deck integration. You can click to install a plugin. It will download and install into your Elgato Stream Deck the option to do camera transitions and toggle editor mode. That's basically what happens when you have the Stream Deck integration. I highly recommend, if you do have a Stream Deck, to use it. However, I will show you an alternative way of using those kind of effects or using the camera changes and editor mode outside of using a Stream Deck. So when you first open up the program, you're going to hit the plus symbol in the upper left here. It's going to present you with 4 options. This one is specially made. 5, I think it's Donkey Kong, if I recall. I have not downloaded that one yet. However, I have tried 2, 3, and 4. Best way to describe it is a studio apartment in Neon, Tokyo for the first one, which we are currently in. This is the room that is number 1. This is on the Mtion server. 2 is a studio apartment gaming like room. So you have a nice living room. 3 is what I like to call a lo-fi cafe book area with some rain. And then 4 is kind of a grunge, like underground band, like it's, you kind of get the point. It's like a nice band setup kind of area, like a grunge area. And then I think the other one is, of course, for Donkey Kong, because they had made an announcement on their Discord that they had made like a special tropical theme Donkey Kong one. But any which way, what you'll do is you'll come on down and you'll name the room and then describe that room, and then you'll click create. I need to preference this, that once you hit create, don't panic. They don't have a loading bar yet. They're working on it. What happens is it will download the Mtion room from their server to your computer, and then it will have all the assets ready to go. But what if you want to make your own? Well, they're still working on a way to make an SDK file. It is not readily available to the community. However, if you make a FBX or some type of a Unity world or room, they are working on a converter to switch it over from the proprietary file that you use to their Mtion program file, which is recognized in Mtion, so that you can be able to put cameras in the room and kind of have certain effects react to this program. So you cannot add at this moment Unity projects or FBX rooms. This is all proprietary to Mtion, as Mtion kind of reacts a certain way. So we're gonna dive into the apartment you see on screen. So it's gonna freak out real quick, but we will be right back. Remember what I said when it freaks out? Well, usually what happens is it will go to whatever camera is your first camera. So I have it set up as my starting soon screen. So come on back. Hi, welcome to my webcam. Let me just turn on desktop mode real quick, and then we'll switch over to it. But this is Mtion. You have multiple cameras you can control. There are multiple things you can add into this room. For example, I have Kyle, I have the Eddie poster, I have Burgle's poster, I have Marky Mark, and Johnny 5. So that's just a couple things you can do outside of lighting effects and camera effects. So we're going to talk about what you see when you first start up. So this room will just look like a kind of like a Sims 2D or 2.5D kind of room. What you're going to do is you're going to come over here to editor mode. It's the 3D cube just sitting here in the center. Just go ahead and click that, and then it will bring you into a 3D environment of it. So this is not just the room. There's a few more buildings outside, and we'll go through a couple things in a few minutes. But we're going to talk about first is cameras, as cameras are the first thing that you're going to see over here on the left side. These are all the virtual cameras that are generated. You can remove and add them. However, this is the camera that you are currently on. And then when I press webcam, for example, you don't get to see it because we're on webcam, but the camera moved. Maybe if I try this, go back to main desktop. You see it moved again? All right. So basically over here on the left, or sorry, on the right, we have, you can name the camera, you can delete the camera. There are also attached cameras where you can actually have it like pan to a different camera. That one, you have to have 2 cameras, and I forget how to actually link it. I do apologize. This is not a full tutorial, I should say that, but it's the first impressions. Transform, of course, is, you know, moving it on the X, Y, and Z axis. The only thing that does not work is the scale. It does nothing to the camera. I should preference that. I don't know why it's there, but it doesn't give a zoom or anything else. Your camera, you have cut, inner loop, and then you have like as a transition where it could just straight cut or just kind of pan over and just float through 3D space to your next camera. Kind of like this. and come on back. All right. So, I don't leave it on cut because I know cut is not really I want to go with. However, for someone like Marky Mark, I would use cut. There's also another way to work around that. The other thing is shortcuts. So, for example, if you want to use your keyboard to do like this, you would have to use right control and F9. Or I have it set up so you can do left control or a bunch of other combinations. You can do left alt as well, but then you have number pad options. The list goes on. If you've used, I think, Touch Portal or another type of like streamer deck type program where you can put in keyboard controls, then you'll be fine with the camera transitions that way. Basically, all you're going to be able to do is put in when you want to toggle to that camera. All right. The next one we have on this list is settings. Your duration, which is going to be the speed from point A to point B. So, for example, that is 1 second. And then going back to it, I have 1 second as well. To Marky Mark, I have half a second. And then towards the BRB 90 screen, I have 5 seconds. So it does this nice smooth pan over. Okay. And then we have the field of view. I have it set to 60. You can change that to 110 if you want, 90, or even less than that. Post-processing, you have contrast, bloom, vignette, and the shallow, I call it shallow depth of field, but it's depth of field. So for example, on my SS screen, I have a vignette of 55 with a regular shallow depth of field of 1. And I should also preference that if you adjust any of these over here, that you need to actually click in between the number and the wall, the left wall, or it will not let you like move. So for example, if I'm over here, won't let me do it. It's you have to click very precisely in that certain spot. So any which way, those are the camera stuff. So when you want to add a new camera, easiest way I found is coming over here to the, you should probably be able to move if you've ever worked in Unity or in a 3D space. WASD to move left, right, up, down. To move vertically up and vertically down is Q and E, and then your right click lets you do a camera control for you. But to add an actual camera, what you'll do is you'll come over here right where the cube is, camera placement, you would click it and you would insert a camera. You will see this little logo, which means that is a camera. This is a image object. This one over here is an M-Motion 3D object. And then all the way out in the distance is a light asset. However, after I have clicked on this camera, not Marky Mark camera, it's number 13. I know it's number 13. Here we go. After you click on that camera, it has been created. So you would go through and set it up whichever way you want. So my rule of thumb is put the camera where you're going to be looking. So whatever you want the camera to be, like setting up a shot, have it there, click that button, and then adjust from there. Don't like randomly put it somewhere and then move it over slowly, because you will have to move it in a 3D space. So that is how you would do cameras. So let me just get rid of this camera. Next one on the list is virtual assets. When you click on this, it will take you here, and then it'll open up like your folder. You have to go find where you have a virtual asset. But once you do, it will basically, for example, this is basic asset. It's just going to give you position, rotation, and scale. It is a file type where it is recognized by M-Motion. So, like I said before, the SDK to making M-Motion files or converting files from another file type to Mtion has not been readily available yet, but will be in the future after they're out of early access. Okay, moving on to the next one. The next one on this list is light bulbs, aka a light element. So this is a light element. Clearly, it's not going to show up on this camera right now, but you can see right behind me, you see a light orb. In order to get rid of the light orb, simply click on Gizmo, and now it's not in the scene, but the light is still being refracted into the program. So what we're going to do, I'm going to click back on the light. You can basically name it, remove the element, transform it, rotate it, do the scale does work, so it is getting bigger. And it's still not being affected by me. I wonder why. Well, maybe because I didn't increase the intensity yet. So, intensity. Now I am feeling the light of the gods! But yeah, you'd basically, for this light, you would transform it. You would make it either a point light, or you can make it a spotlight. Control the intensity, and you can also, with the hex code, you can type in the color combination that you want to look for. See? But that's pretty much it for the lights. Next up on the list, we have empty objects. By clicking on empty object, it will present you with this kind of blank screen. You can attach a camera to it to remove the element, of course, but you can transform it, and scaling, of course, does work for this. And like I said, you have to click specifically right where the U is in order to increase the size. The scene object is the most important part about this. When you click on scene object, you get disable, which will bring you back to this black screen. We have desktop capture, which is basically what you are looking at on screen right now. You also have connected cameras. So for example, if you use a capture device that is recognized as a camera, so like an Elgato virtual cam or a cam link, or any type of proprietary USB to HDMI that you do capturing with, or I don't know, let's just say OBS virtual camera, that's something you can run it through. You will have that ability to do through that as well. You have videos. When you click on video, it presents you with an Mtion video file. This will actually take MP4 and MOV. I have talked to developers about getting WebM because I've been told for the longest time that WebM is less strain on the CPU. It'd be a little bit easier to run, but I find a weird thing that an MP4 file doesn't really bump up the CPU usage with this, so I don't know. But yeah, it will take MP4 and MOV files, so that's basically how the movie video file will do. The next one on the list we have is image, presented with a meme. Basically, you just upload a JPEG or a PNG, and it should be able to work. I think it also takes GIFs as well. Let me check. Nope, just PNG and JPEG. So I'm going to take a quick moment to sidetrack right now and talk about the settings here. So we have crop, which will give you like left and right. And then we have up and down, vertical. And then you can make it as small as you want, and then you can just move the bar to what you really want to crop on. The next one we have is mirror, which is going to flip it. Only time I've seen people that want to use the mirror option is like in a Discord call, because a Discord call will mirror. So you want to be able to mirror everything to make it look correctly. I don't know. I don't really do that. But they have that as an option for you. And then the other one is diegetis, which will react to the lighting in the room. So that's basically how that works. I will even bring it over to my light source over here and show you. So it is in the shadows right now. However, the light source right above the camera, you can see it's reacting to the light. And that's it. Okay, I'm gonna switch to the next one. We also have websites, which actually pulls another link from I think it is Mtion again. But yeah, you can pull browser sources here, and or your friend's stream, for example. Same thing happens, mirror, diegetis, cropping. However, you'll drop the URL in here, and if it has a age restriction like thing, most Twitch streamers have that. You can hit bypass age restriction. It will verify your age and let you put the stream in the room. So that is for websites. And then we have finally the VTuber feed. Hi. Welcome back again. In order to do VTuber feed, you basically would have to select which program that you use. I use VSeeFace, so we're going to pull up VSeeFace real quick. And if you use... Hi, I'm not real. If you use VSeeFace, what you're going to do is you're going to come down to settings here. We'll go up, I guess, in the face. Settings, general settings. I'm going to scroll this up. You're going to scroll down to virtual camera. You should have a download link. Once you download it, you will be able to do a virtual enable for the session, and then you'll have this. If you're looking for the background to do a transparent background for Mtion, in your folder where you have VSeeFace, they do supply you with a background transparency, so you can use that. But yeah, that is all the empty objects that you can currently use in Mtion. There are probably more on the way. I know I'm not the only one asking for game capture. I know there are a couple of cool lighting effects, or I think it's OCA type of things. We're trying to get more like Twitch integration into it as well, where if someone does a channel redeem, could trigger something in the room, kind of a thing. However, we're going to move on down on the list and move to the next section here. So we did empty object. We have over here a desktop capture, webcam capture, video capture, image capture, website or URL, and then your VTuber feed. And then the final one we have that they just introduced, I would say about a week ago, is NDI source. I personally don't use an NDI source, but that is when you kind of send information over your network to OBS, and that's kind of like a dual PC setup. I am not an expert at this, so I'm leaving that alone, so I don't have any people complaining in the comments. So this has been Mtion, and my thoughts are it's an amazing program. It's got some things it needs to work on, but I gotta say I'm liking it. I do look forward to making my own room here in this space, but all in all, if you're looking to spice up your streams a bit, come on down and play with Mtion. If you have any questions or any tutorials about stuff, please let me know in the comments below. A like and subscribe is always welcomed. I am Tateshi, and I am signing off.